So a point just came up for me and I wanted to make a quick video about it because I had somewhat of a realization, and this is in relation to emotions or being a very emotional person. When you're somebody who has OCD or dermatillomania, what I realize is that you might not even relate to that, because I look back at my experiences when I was deeply, deeply into the disorder, meaning I lived that more than I lived anything else. And my impression of myself at the time was that I was a very stable person. I did not get emotional. I didn't have tantrums. I very rarely had emotional outbreaks of anger or frustration or sadness or anything intense really. And I realized that, more recently I'm referring to these intense emotional experiences, and people who are deep in the disorder right now, where it's really got the grips on them, might not be able to relate to that. And this is funny for me because I have to remember who and how I was, back then, where there was one instance in my life in particular where I was working with the public and consistently with the same people. And this one particular man would always ask me, "How are you always so happy?" And I would look within myself and be like, well, that's just how I am. I am just happy all the time. And I'm stable. But there was always something at the back of my mind that was like, something's not right here. I mean, I knew I had a mental disorder. So how could you really say that you're okay when you know that you have this thing in your life that is actually a huge problem? And there is a direct link there. There is a direct relationship between that stability and non-emotionalness, unemotional, unreactive, and the mental disorder. And it is because everything that I was experiencing or avoiding experiencing, all that intense emotional energy that was inside of me, I was channeling it into the disorder and fueling the disorder. So it's almost like growing an entity inside yourself as a mental disorder, instead of dealing with your emotions and feeling them. And it turns out I was absolutely petrified of my emotions and fearful, and would do anything to not experience them. And there would be situations where I would see other people going through things where deep down I knew within myself that if I were to go through that, I wouldn't be able to handle it. That would crush me. And so in walking through the disorder and now stopping and not having that suppression, not having that outlet and that thing to channel all my experiences into, I now experience them and have to process and manage them. And so if you can't relate to when I talk about emotional experiences, intense internal experiences, you have to really look honestly and being honest with yourself. So self-honestly of what it is you're actually going through or avoiding going through. And if you feel that you're a generally happy person and a stable person, but you have a mental disorder, realize the disconnect and how one relates to the other. Okay, so that's all I'm going to share for this video, but we'll be expanding, of course, in videos to come. Thank you.